Well, welcome to Tuesdays, another beautiful session of Engage, right here where we open it up for you to ask your questions, regards everything from relationships, if you have addictions, identity crisis, which we're going to start by talking about as well. And to help us with that conversation, niko na ujuzi kidogo, lakini si kama hawa. Hawa wameenda, those who've gone before. And what is their specialty? Welly Odendo, doctor. Amen. Welly Odendo is with us. Karibu sana once again. And CJ Atemo.
Thank you.
Is with us as well this morning. Before even as we're starting, let me also say, if you have any questions, you can use the hashtag Daybreak. The hashtag to use is Daybreak. We're going to be, sharing some of them with the guests here. So anything, like you said, from relationships to addictions or just general life advice that you may need to move forward. Remember, tunaenda kwa msimu wa Christmas, as Sam Gituko was saying earlier on, this is the time where lazima ujipange, so that by the time unafika that time of Christmas, mko pamoja na whoever it is you need to be with, but no pressure. The SMS lines are also open. The SMS number is 22422. That is 22422. Some of you had sent in some questions last week. We didn't get to tackle all of them. We're going to also start with a sample of them as we give you time also to send in yours on 22422. But I want us to begin before I go into the questions here on what I feel is a problem with, I guess, millennials, and I know that's a broad spectrum, but many people also, even people at 50, 60, still struggle with what is an identity crisis. So they don't know who they are. You hear so many young people today saying, they are in a job, but they don't necessarily feel fulfilled at the job or on the job. And you hear them saying, turning down jobs even with a lot of money and saying, I left it because I didn't feel I was being fulfilled. Then after 3 or 4 weeks, they're like, sasa hata vile nilitoka hii hata sasa ndo nimepotea zaidi. So how does one find their identity? That's how we do.
Well, identity, as you've said, is a deep-rooted and intertwined case, because it deals with, it has external factors and internal ones. Externally, it's who are your opinion shapers, because as a person develops, the need to fit into a bigger community begins to be important, and so you start changing from parents to teachers, then to now celebrities, and then slowly you begin to lose yourself, because you've got so many figures that are shaping what is your true value, meaning, and sense of significance. So those are one of the things. Also, things like exposure. Where were you taken to school? What have you been doing? Have you been educated? And if the guy who studied in Nyamira and the guy who got to study in Sussex,
yes, Sussex.
they all have a different exposure, because you find that environment has different structures, different freedoms, different reward mechanisms, and so they affect so much the sense of expression and the sense of individuality that a person has. Internally, now this comes to relationships, people that you formed intentional bonds with. It also comes from a point of your commitment to personal development. It can shape your identity. And thirdly, things like choices. Choices have consequences, and that's what millennials don't really feel, think deeply about, because they tend to feel like, if I don't feel it, I just go with the feeling. But life is deeper than what you feel, and identity is broader, as you're just trying to put it, than how you feel, because now there is a choice, and that choice will create an effect, and some of these effects are so many you may not be able to redeem your life. Take for example just a simple thing like sex is an act, then you get pregnant, and you're 18, you've just cleared your Form 4. being a mother is an identity change immediately. You will never lose that identity mother. You may want to take care of that baby or not, but that already shapes and reorients your life. And a child is a 22-year commitment, or our parents would be done by 17. They tell you, hey, you need to go out of the house. But now I'm seeing they're staying in up to 30. So it's a 22, 25-year decision. So you just don't say, let's do it, or I feel like, oh, it's good. But you have to see, this is 25 years. Am I ready to bear the weight of 25 years from a single act? It can get me 25 years, and that will change my identity. It will change the flow of my life. So feelings are not facts, and feelings are not right. Just because I feel it is not a right or a mandated to do it. That probably what I would say.
And still, even as that, there's already some comment here. Gilbert Amata says, which gives more probably you know, what we're talking about in terms of what people think. Is that motivation is overrated. Goals are king. Sleep if necessary, but never stop until you meet your king. Yes, sleep is necessary, but never stop until you meet your king. So again, there are those who say that they are, you know, people who say that they're goal oriented, even as and then they, somebody once asked me, Willis, who are you? Because if they ask you, when nani, utasema I'm a journalist. But is that my real identity?
No, that's what you do.
You know, part of it is also the societal breakdown, in the sense that there have not been people who have deliberately caused the children growing up to know who they are. And that was a big role of fatherhood, where you are not told who you are, your values, you're not given your significance outside of the externals that Welly is talking about. So as you grow, you're trying to find yourself, and you begin to look for what you can fit into. You see, the human being was created to fit into an image, and so image is so powerful. Anything that a human being looks at over time, they want to become like. And if there is no image, for example, if there is no image of a model in the house, if there is no father in the house or the parents in the house modeling something, as people begin to grow, they will look for other images. That's where now, you know, the celebrity thing comes in, the peer pressure comes in. So people then begin to want to arrive at a certain place very fast. They don't understand that there are stages in growth. And even that discovery, regardless of the fact that I will tell my son, this is who you are, and no matter what happens, whether you have money or you don't have money, whether you perform well in school or you don't perform well in school, no matter your giftings, wherever life places you, you're valuable, you're a son, you belong. Even if I do that, then there's the part also of self-discovery, and it's going to take time. So I think the crisis comes in when, at a certain stage, I'll see Welly, I admire Welly because I have this image, and then I want to be Welly tomorrow, not knowing how he got there, the journey, the processes, the choices, the chances that he has taken. So I suddenly want to be Welly. Then I might actually try to be, then I don't feel fulfilled because I'm not him. So I don't feel the way he feels. He's very satisfied in who he is. And I get there and I'm feeling like, but I'm not fulfilled in here. So externally, I have become Welly. Internally, I'm not built to be Welly. And I begin to feel bad about it. So I think that people must understand that you're not going to arrive in places overnight. You're not going to become somebody overnight. And you must be willing to allow people to be successful in being them as you chart your course. Comparison is the killer of self-identity. When I begin to compare myself to you and want to be, I can't do 10 over 10, man. I can't do that stuff, you know. I can't do that. So, and social media has brought in its own aspect.
Yes.
Like, so if I see, if Willis posts on Instagram, he's got his 10,000 likes. So I'm feeling the pressure to have all these followers. You know, I'm going to lose myself because I have to be somebody else to try and pull that, because I don't want to have 50 likes or something like that. So I think you see, it started with a place where nobody was telling us who we were. So we started looking for images of what we want to become, and then we get into it, and somewhere along the line, we just lose ourselves and feel like, no, I'm not even satisfied with this. Yeah.
And there are also people who, because I know you also, you mentioned being a mother changes the identity, but then I've seen cases where some ladies have said that, you know, because I've focused so much on the children or building the home, I've lost a sense of who I really am. Does that also happen?
It does happen, and that is why any relationship that has got dependence deprives you, because it's going to deplete your energy, because you're going to spend your energy shaping somebody's world. Now, when you try to do that role at such a young age, or without the tools that helps you separate yourself from the child, you're going to find yourself losing yourself in the child. And so eventually you're going to try to control the child, because the child has become you. And when now the child forms a broader social identifier, you feel as though they're betraying you. And that's why there are some mothers who will not support their children when they want to play soccer, because they feel if they hurt their leg, they've hurt themselves. They'll not support their children or their choice of marriage. They're consistently around their children, destabilizing them, because they lost themselves in their children. So they're not looking after the children, they're looking after themselves. The child is just a carrier of them, is a bag. They remove themselves and put themselves in there so that they could carry it all over. So it's possible to, you can lose yourself even in work. As long as drive overrides direction, or desire overrides direction, you're going to get into a crisis. Because it doesn't matter whether it's a drive for money, a drive for sex, a drive for power, a drive for children, a drive for whichever thing. As long as it's just drive, but you don't have the ultimate sense of destination, because that's what this direction gives you. With all this money, where is it going to lend me? I need $1 billion for what? To have it in my bank so that I don't work for the rest of my life. Then I work protecting it because it has been my... So without that sense of direction, it doesn't matter. You're going to get yourself into that crisis. So I think it gets there.
So how does then someone get that direction? Because even just using that example of money, everybody's, in fact, I think the reason why to connect easy cases like today, the front page of The Nation has a gentleman, and who allegedly, we'll use the word, until proven, he has 8 houses, he flies to avoid 30-minute traffic, and to the extent where people are so much after money, and secretly, when you look at such stories, you're like, huyu jamaa yenyewe amemake it, yani hakuna hii pesa. Hata kama ni pesa ya corruption, huyu jamaa amemake. Yani ningekuwa kama ama you hear conversation like, if you wewe ungefanya nini kama ungekuwa offered hiyo pesa? Ungefanya nini? Si ungechukua, na vile maisha ni ngumu siku hizi. So if it's about money, for example, and you know, the aim is money, how do I, because again, money is important. So how am I going to jifunga ndo hii money is
let me first you know, I think the problem with the society at large is we have the money idea but not the money philosophy. And what that does is that it creates appetite without meeting need. If you see if allegedly the person on the newspaper, all those are toys. All those things are toys. It's just gotten bigger toys. It's like a game of Monopoly. If you put kids and they're playing Monopoly, they'll exactly get that. 7 houses here, 10 houses here. Because I'm pretty sure if I visit even the family of that person, he has not taken care of the educational needs of his family. Those are the people directly related to him, extended cousins. Okay. They're even surprised that he actually made all that, has enjoyed that privilege, because the money idea is what gives you the sense of drive, but the money philosophy is broader, because what it does is that it begins to interrogate, after I get this money, what problem am I going to solve? If it is a problem of a house, I can buy one, rent one. In corruption cases, it's buy one, get one. Buy one, get the other, get the other free of charge. But beyond there, okay, now you have a house, then what? Then now you're spending your life, now you start looking for another toy. Now I cannot be in traffic, now I cannot be in this. And slowly by slowly you begin to find, no matter how well-intending you are, when this money has come in and it has not been attached to a greater good, and a greater good is not having a house is okay, having a car is okay, but there is a greater good. I was looking at our country and some of the countries alongside us. You'd actually think this country, some of these African countries, is as though there have been no government, because the dilapidation of infrastructure and the commitment to improve it, it's as though whenever you're told, go fix the road, is go get rich. When you just hear...
Yes.
There's
like this, again, just, and I'm very sorry for using this guy, but it's the example that we have. Apologies to him if he's watching. But, for example, this guy, his life changed. You see how you gave the example of when someone becomes a mother? So when this guy got a job in a certain department, then all of a sudden he had all this access. So again, my question, I guess, also would be in that, in that regard, in terms of, and even, the book Leprous Generals. There's this person when he has this talent, akona all this. He's a fairly sharp guy, but he's not content with pesa alikuwa na earn. Now he has this opportunity, but no integrity.
It gets back to our value systems. Welly said, by the time the money comes, then you need to attach it to something. And I would go further and say that before even the money comes, you need to have something that this money is coming to do. You need to have a clear goal. This is what I would want to do in taking care of people, taking care of myself, changing my community. And so if I get this money, you know very well where it needs to be directed. When you have a clear value system and when you have controlled desires, then you will only get as much as you should. You'll only take in as much as you need. And I'm not going to take anything that is not mine just because I want to fulfill a certain purpose. Because that is part of having clear values. Why should I take something that belongs to Willis just because I feel I need something else? You see, the toy thing takes us back to the ungrown child.
Yes.
A child will have a toy today, and then you buy another one, then another child wants to play with the first toy, and they feel like, no, I need this one also, and the other one. And they play with the toy for 3 days, then they cry for another toy. Because one of the things about being a child is that you cannot control your desires. You want food when you need it. You want everything when you need it. You can't hold. You can't wait. A child cannot wait for the mother to cook. They will scream. A child cannot wait to go to the toilet. They will ease themselves wherever they are. And so this shows an element of lack of growth in the people, that internally there is a problem. There's certain things that were not developed. So we don't know how to control our desires. Just because there's an opportunity does not mean we should take it. Just because money can come and get into my account without Willis knowing does not mean I need to take that. It shows a greater breakdown in our value systems. So for someone like this, you see, the reason why you'll get the first, the second, and the third is you're not satisfied. And you're not going to get satisfied. If you start going for something, somewhere along the line, you always want more. You go for the first woman, you want the second woman, you want the third woman. You sleep around today, you want to sleep around them all. There is no place where you will say enough. So that is the place where you must now put discipline in yourself. How much is enough? How much can I have? How much can I take? How much food can I eat? When I'm set, when buffet is set, when you have a buffet set before you, how much are you going to eat? I mean, it is available, but it doesn't mean that now you should take it. You take what you need, you eat, and you go, however much you paid for it. So I think also there is, which brings the other sense of, the sense of entitlement, where I feel because I'm here now, I am entitled to everything that is on this table. I have waited, I have worked hard, and probably it is a false philosophy that has been created by those who've gone ahead. Why am I working hard for the people on the top to eat? Even if I work and become faithful, somebody's going to eat. So somebody down here is feeling like, so why don't I also sought myself, because we are run by leaders who have a sense of entitlement. If I am here, I'm entitled to everything. So the guy who is down is also thinking, why should I not do that? So I think somebody must find deeper values than just in the things that they have. Right.
All right. I'm also being told that our guys have started sending in some SMSs. So I'll take it. Oh, that's a long one. Okay. Johnson Abuto says, indeed, comparison is the thief of joy. When you compare yourself to others, you know all the dirty details of your situation, of the problems with what you've created, but only the seemingly positive surface information about them or their work. So I usually don't hold myself up to some outside vague standard of greatness. I judge my work by my principles and leave comparison out of the equation. All right. Lois from Makweni says, morning guys, I've been in a relationship with a guy for 9 months, but I found out that he has been dating my best friend and I am in love with him. What can I do? Right, the SMS line is 22422. Keep sending them all those texts. We'll handle the ones you can in this time frame, and also we'll tell you how you can reach them after. But the SMS line is 22422. That number again, 22422. And you can also reach us on the hashtag Daybreak. So the first one talked about comparison, but then we also have Lois from Makweni here, and anasema kwamba I've been in a relationship with a guy for 9 months. Found out that he's dating my best friend. What can Lois do?
It's quite unfortunate, but I don't know how best to say it. But probably you thought she's your best friend. She's not your best friend. The word friendship is always loosely used, especially, nowadays you meet somebody after 3-4 months, you say, we go to the same church, we become friends, you go to the same school, you become friends. But friendship has some values, and back in the days, I'm not old, but back in the days, there were rules, there were bro rules. If you're hitting on a girl, I can't hit on a girl. Even girls knew that. Hey, if a boy is hitting on you, he cannot be allowed. It was a no-no, but if that happened...
The bro code.
Yeah, there was a code, like,
yes.
We don't hit on the same girl. And girls also had that, if you break up with her, we've broken up with you. It was something like that.
Yes.
So you never got both. So if something is happening with, let me say, the lady whom you thought was your best friend, she was not your best friend, what should you do? For me, I think relationships can survive affairs, but cannot survive arrogance. I think the doctor is here. Because affairs are matters of temptation. They are human. You can be lured, maybe, after not sleeping enough. Even elephants look like zebras, and probably you may be lured. But arrogance is an internal state. It's an internal state. It is not a temptation. It is keeping yourself in that state. And I've seen that a relationship can go through a terrible affair, and the other one party finds out, and because the other party, the only issue they are dealing with is the affair, it is easier. But if this affair you begin to find, alianza kunifanyia madharau, alianza gashikangi simu, siku moja siku hizi, hata siku hizi nikitoka kwa hao, he drives off, alifanya hivi, alifanya. Once you start seeing arrogance coming in, because arrogance, even the good book says, God resists the proud. So that means it creates a resistance between the two of you. So your presence makes me want to be absent. If I hear you in the house, I hang out until I hear you're asleep. So let me take to the people who do relationships.
But two things come out here as well. What he's saying is that only best friend, I'm saying, first of all, best friend. And they've been, I don't know if the 9 months is also a factor. And then she says she's in love. So the fact that she mentioned I'm in love, I think she means that she wants to...
She said she's in a relationship, right?
Yes, for 9 months. With a guy for 9 months. But I found out that he's been dating my best friend and I'm in love.
I think if she would have told us...
Somebody anonymous says, just let the man go.
Right. If she would have told us when this man also started dating the other lady, I agree with Welly. There's a problem in that friendship, though, because if they're best friends, either one of them would have known who the other was dating. But it is also possible that the dating started at the same time. She just got to know.
Yeah.
But it just shows a lack of trust between the two ladies. The man has taken advantage of that, knowing that this one does not speak to the other one about this. Maybe he actually manipulates the situation where he will say something like, you know, I don't want people to know, let it be under for now, just because he knows that there are two ladies who are close to each other. So I wish I knew how long the dating with the best friend
was going on.
Yeah, because sometimes you may find that that started even earlier. Sometimes people don't tell you the whole truth when they're sending the question. So maybe the other one even started earlier. Whichever the case that is, I think then she needs to address it, both with the man or even with her friend. Like, I realize that we are dating the same man. A problem needs to be solved. A relationship needs to be saved. And this friendship may not be saved, but some truth needs to be gained. So I think that she should not just keep quiet and go away. She needs to talk to somebody about it, either the man or the lady, so that she knows how to make an informed decision, whether she's going to stay on with this man or she just needs to walk, because she could just be wasting her time. Yeah.
Wasting her time. Lois, I hope there's some more SMSs here. I don't know if we have them there yet, or I just read them from the pad, but some of them are still coming in. There's one, like, sit down and say, just let the man go. Anyway, this is from Twitter. Thanks, guys. From Twitter, Keep Singar, I think I'm saying it right, say, dealing with self-identity crisis, why be me or we? Let's reflect on where we come from and how we are socialized. Good day, FB family watching. Hashtag daybreak, feeling positive. Very good. Keep on feeling positive. That's how it's done. There is one SMS here. I'll just take that one. Okay, there's several. There's an interesting one. I think that one will put it up. But one I'll take here. I think the government should make this sponsor issue be sort of a formal employment, since people with money entice our girls. They use the money they earned. This is Dan Kimosop from Embakasi. And again, I just continue sending a text there. It is Dan Kimosop from Emba. In case you're wondering, the SMS line is 22422. I'll just repeat it again, because I know some of you are now busy typing. Alafu utasawa at a number. So it's 22422. But he says that this sponsor thing should be employment, because now people are being enticed. We entice our girls. Now, reading that, when he says entice our girls, it must be that uni mutu mwenye aliibiwa. Or something like, or even if not the case, yeah, that's the situation.
I don't even think that this is new. I think it's just that in our age, there's more information out there. When we were growing up, well, it was a different name, right? It was sugar daddy. Same concept, same thing. I think the need for those girls and for those men, it goes beyond money. Money plays a role over there, but I think it goes beyond money.
So money is like the enabler?
Yeah, it is, but it just goes beyond the money. Sometimes you'll find a lady who is actually looking for a father figure, and then meets this person, and that relationship goes beyond just a normal relationship. Sometimes they feel that, you know, the younger guys, there's a lot of pressure. And with the older guys, they feel, you know, the guy will let me do my stuff. He'll let me be, he'll not be all over my space. I'm not justifying, but I'm trying to demystify. I feel that man is busy, so he will allow me do my things, hang out with the girls, do whatever I need to do, have space, we meet when we need to. As opposed to sometimes when they feel that the younger guys, you know, maybe this guy is just beginning life. And so he wants to be in the space. So they have a lot of issues of control. They have a lot of issues of suffocation. So the money factor, and I said it last time when I was here, that, you see, women can go with you when you don't have money. They can. Money is not what makes most women make the decision. Of course, there's some girls also who are just outrightly out there to make the money. There's some of them who just want to make the money. They want to get out of poverty, out of trouble. They feel like, I don't want to live life the way my mother lived. I don't want to suffer. So I need to get as much money as I can so that I live a better life. Mostly, even when they do that, somewhere along the line, they crack because they realize that that money did not satisfy them. They just crack, they crash, they come to a place they feel like they've wasted so much time. But I just wanted to say that this is not a new phenomenon. It is more a social problem than it is a financial problem. So saying that, you know, it would be like a job, no, it wouldn't fix the problem. It wouldn't fix the problem because it's more a social problem than it is an economic one.
Does it also point to, because at the time we're having an argument in terms of why does it continue? Is it because, yes, while the older men per se are reaching out to the younger women, but the younger women are also, like he said, reaching out, and the excuse that they have apart from no money, nini wanasema hawa vijana wadogo hawajielewi, back to their identity.
Yeah. You know,
they are not stepping up.
I think what has happened, unfortunately, over time is the disempowerment of the man. We have been made to be afraid of man. So a man, if you ask what makes a man and what a man should aim for, we should know that women by nature are looking for strength. And when a man has been so disempowered, they don't emanate that strength. They don't feel, because they are told, if you're strong, you will scare. If you're strong, you're scary. So we've found the emergence now of the sensitive man, which is okay. I don't mind. Sensitive doesn't mean you're not crying. I don't know. You can cry.
Metrosexual, is that?
Yeah, now.
Like that.
So you can cry, you can do all that, which is okay. But these women, as much as they're encouraging you to express yourself, eventually they just find themselves attracted to the non-cry because they think, so sisi wote tunalia pamoja, we are all crying together. So there is like a need in a woman to see strength in a man, that even when the pressure rises, how you compose yourself and contend with pressure gives them a sense of security, which is because women will look for that. And you cannot provide security without strength, which is one. Two, there's a lack of structure for men because relationships require structure. You cannot have a relationship based on love. At some point, it will shape up into a structure. And so most men in that structure where we assume that a man is the head, makes them not even understand what does head do. So you pick up a woman that you can't head in the first place. Let's be honest. There are some of us men, it's not that women love money, but the kind of goals the nyumdem amejiwekea na zile umejiwekea, you can't head her. She is an elephant, you are an ant, and you're trying to say, no, I can carry her. You may love her, but now when it comes to structuring the two of you together, we discover you are two from the word go, the way this woman has set her goal and the way this man has set a goal. And that's why you'll see men who are high achievers easily get more women because their ability to head is so high and wide. Men who are low achievers, they're very sweet talkers, but then they have to prey on you when you're still weak or just discover you've not been to Casol School of Leadership, you've not been, so you have still not found yourself. So it's very easy to sweet talk a woman, but once a woman comes to her senses, because women are very particular, they are saying, hey, okay, I can see you're a very strong man, but when I look at the structure of your life, you're all the strength that you have, you just want to be domesticating me. Uko, umefika, ulitoka tau 6, saini 7, uko happy. Now, she is thinking, if this is all you're preoccupied with by whereabouts, I should be the one saying, hey, there are these opportunities that we can pursue because you have created a system, a structure that is enabling her to rise. So I think that is what disempowerment has done to the man. It has caused them to not be able to even function in the structure of a relationship, so that you get a woman to love you. Unajimeka dem.
Yes. All right. There are many SMSs and I want time in but let's try to get the ones we can and see. We'll ask. This is Patrick Ominde from Kisumu. Kudos to our bishops. They always keep us on toes and really motivated. God bless. Patrick Ominde. Guys, I'm totally confused. What is the right age to marry? That is Clifford from Nakuru. Johnson Abuto says her friend is smarter than her, but I think the trust has been betrayed on both and she needs to move on. That's relating the best friend issue from Makweni. And then our ladies want, that's done. I want a man with a car. Now umetoka family without a car. Wanatuweka pressure to steal. Style up, ladies. Well, okay. Then there's another one. Oh, there is, well, there are some others here. Let me, some of them, very long ones, and I'll try and read them. Hi, hey, this is, you didn't leave your name, but your number ends in 86. Hey, I have a cousin who we are very close until we started getting romantic. We can't get married. That's a thing that she even understands, but she tells me, oh, there it is, but she tells me, that's the thing that she tells me that I should go in and get married, but never to abandon what we already have. Now I have a girlfriend and wants to move on, but she comes in the house when my lady is not around, and even my lady knows her to be my cousin. I don't know what to do. And there's another one say, hi, I've dated a guy for 2 years until he proposes for marriage, and now I'm pregnant for him, but my realization that he has been dating other 2 ladies behind me after they called me and confessed, I feel confused. I'm even getting more stressed when I see him. When I ask him, he just says he wants this child with me because that's his only concern he has with me, giving him the child. What do I do? Another one, I was in a relationship from 2011 to 2015 where I got pregnant and gave birth to a baby boy. Worse enough is that the father to my kid during my expectancy was busy dating my closest and best friend. And the friend pretended to be so close during that time until the time her sister told me that I'm being played. Then I moved out. Yes. So there are 2 cases here. One, this one, which is very interesting, and nitauliza tafadhali mtuongeze kama dakika 5 hivi. Lodrick. All right. So somebody's saying here, the one who's been dating the cousins, and the relationship got romantic, and now kuna girlfriend. Now who Dave akikuja anajua tu ni kuzo, lakini there is more to it. And the cousin doesn't want to let go of what
he's in the mix, he's in love with 2 people.
Sasa atafanya nini na moja ni kuzo? What does he do?
You know, again, he says he was dating the cousin, then it became romantic. So I want to know that dating.
No, he said they were very close, then the relationship became romantic.
Then it became romantic. I think he knows the right thing to do. I just think he knows the right thing to do. In this particular case, he says they can get married. He has his girlfriend. His cousin is coming in at a certain point. I think he knows the right thing to do. And the right thing to do is to sever that relationship with the cousin. There's just no 2 ways about it. This is not a case where somebody's going to tell you he's in love with this lady and then with the best friend, and so he's trying to think of who. Here he knows one is not going to work at all. It's just, there's absolutely no way that's going to work. So I think he knows what to do, and he needs to sever that. And that depends on whether he values the relationship that he is in the first place.
What about this one who found out after getting pregnant, these guys proposed, so they're engaged. So now after getting pregnant, realized that there are 2 ladies who later called me and confessed that they've been dating. And now when he asks, what you're talking about arrogance,
I think one thing we are proving is that ladies don't know how to form friendships. First of all. Because if you hear the case, we are not hearing from the hypothesis here, if you are to do it scientifically, we are not hearing men, ati boy anasema kuna boy flani. No, it's ladies create illusions that we are friends. Maybe they make friendships because they go to the salon together or drive in a mat together. And maybe that's where they should revisit and start and ask themselves, how is it that you yourselves in your circle of friendship do not have a mechanism? Because friendships should have mechanisms of sorting out issues. In the bro world, we don't, unless it is agreed that we are going hunting as a pack. But we just don't show up, 4 of us. At this, yeah. But I don't think, because it just shows, and that's why I think most ladies become wounded, become jilted. They create a perception that all men are dogs, or men are this, or men are this. But it is just starting from the foundation that whatever they term as friendship, or how they even start relationships, the depth required to start a relationship. I don't think this man became this. I think he was already this. But men are good at hiding where they step. So the lady, maybe because of pressure or those questions of age or unaoa lini, decided, hey, this guy has come, he looks promising, let me settle down.
But let me ask also, then shouldn't there be though, and again, it's not like tunasema hongera men, all ladies ndawajui, there should ideally be some sort of boundaries.
Yes, there should be.
Yeah.
There should be serious boundaries. I don't know. Every individual without boundaries can be abusive. Even children, even a husband, even a wife, even your mother, even your father. Everybody needs to be defined. Now, if those boundaries are not there, then that means there's room for extremities, and that extremity is where it lies. I think this lady should accept, first of all, they should have a conversation and ask, so is the wedding still on? Because I'm hearing it's an engagement. Is the wedding still on? If you're beginning to have problems now, I would advise her, don't sign the papers, because once you sign those papers at the AG, you are making, it will be more complicated to walk and sever it. There are mechanisms in law that the father must be involved and take care of the child. But I wouldn't advise her to just, because I'm engaged, I'm old, to continue. She's going to have more problems than this.
I would say, you know, there's something also that ladies must understand, because I get to deal with this. A woman should not try to get pregnant for a man with the hope that that will keep the man. Men don't stay because of the baby. They will only stay because of the woman. So if he is not interested in a woman, he can still have a baby with a woman and then engage with the baby and not want to be with a woman. So sometimes you find cases, because I've seen sometimes, you know, like on Twitter, somebody will ask, like, I met this man in 3 months, I was already living with him, and then I got pregnant or something. So you wonder, why did you get in there that fast? That's something that ladies must get into their head. I know they've heard it, but they need to keep on hearing it. Don't try to use a baby to solidify a relationship. A cracked relationship will be cracked even if there are 5 children. So you need to go through the stages. And agreeing with what Welly is saying, you know, women, when they form their relationships, they can meet today and start having sleepovers tomorrow. So somebody is already sleeping over the other person's house. They've not known each other. They've not grown. They've not set those rules. And then they think they're already tight. So they'll have all these selfies. Everybody assumes they're very tight, yet they have not set the ground rules of engagement of how they are relating. So when they get hurt somewhere along the line, then it becomes so crazy. So I think the women also just need to know that relationships should be progressive. I know women make mostly their decisions based on their emotions, but you need to engage a bit of logic also, just to control how far you can go based on your emotions.
All right, I want to take just the last set of questions here, because there are many now to andika a paragraph, so I will therefore also give you their contacts and how to reach them as well. Somebody said, this is Dimi from LD. I used to love this guy and he ended up hurting me. I'm so confused that he keeps on telling me he still loves me and we should be in an open relationship. I've been married for 8 years now. My husband just decided one day to throw me out due to financial crisis. Since then, it's been 1 year. This is Becky. She says, please help. Once a lady is above 30 and still single, they find it difficult to maintain their identity. They try changing lifestyle and this changes their identity. How can they be helped? This is Herman from Maungu. Good morning, Willis. I'm Victor Ngugi and I am 2 years in marriage. I'm married to a girl with a problem of sickle cell anemia. She had not told me about this even during the engagement. I knew later. What do I do? Please advise. And then finally someone says, you're very angry. and you'll pardon my French, I'll try and read verbatim. Those men saying women love money, or because of money, and money is everything. Was Judas Iscariot a woman? Spare me the please. So yes, so there are those incidences here. 8 years financial crisis, amerushwa nje. Somebody says this person is still hurting me now, and they're saying let's be in an open relationship where you can, you know, be with many other people. And then that one who says that, hey, I married this lady, she didn't tell me that she had sickle cell anemia, and now she does. And now found out after 2 years. What do I do?
I'll start with the last one.
The sickle cell anemia?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is unfortunate in both ways, in two ways rather. One, that this information was not divulged. It is very unfortunate because this is something that has a huge bearing on how this marriage and relationship is going to be. This is a condition that cannot be hidden. When a woman has sickle cell anemia, it is not even advisable for them to try to conceive. So this is something that is going to have a huge bearing on this marriage. This is something that should have been divulged so that the man would make an informed decision and own it, whether he wanted to go ahead with his lady. On the other hand now, the tricky part is this is a condition she did not wish on herself. So it's a very difficult balance for the man. I have heard of such cases, you know. There's a man there was a case where somebody was epileptic and never said it to the wife. So when they went to the honeymoon, that's when the woman realized that this man becomes epileptic. He had medication that was supposed to suppress that, but he didn't want to show the woman that he was using medication. So because of that, he suffered about, and the woman could not take it. I think that this man now needs to engage other people just so that they can work this out. He may need to engage the parents, certain leaders that they have. If they were it in a church, he needs to go back to them and then they begin to work it out, because it is very valid that he feels betrayed. On the other hand, he's caught up in a place where he wouldn't want to look inhuman over here. So I think he needs to engage, go back, find the parents, the leaders, the pastors that wedded them, so they chat a way out.
What about this one who says they want to be in an open relationship? Another one says we've been married for 8 years, all that length of time, then financial crisis and us up.
It all boils down. I think all relationship problems can be cured by just getting rid of the arrogance. Unfortunately, whether money is always the excuse, it's not the actual problem. The actual problem is either somebody lost their money and they stopped making money, and then they became arrogant. And they never think they're arrogant, they just become resistant to truth, resistant to you start breaking down, you feel, I don't know, I don't need to communicate with you. Nikipata ndakwambia, you know, you get I think we should do this, so you don't want to involve the other person. That's arrogance. You don't want to involve the other person. Or the man starts feeling that when I used to have money, you used to iron my shirts, wash my clothes, do this. But now you've changed. Nowadays you treat me like a shamba boy. That's arrogance, and not being a shamba boy is not bad. So if arrogance is gotten rid, and if this woman genuinely, and that's where most of them you hear, she's been out for 1 year, she should have gotten help. And that's why I advise couples. Couples should walk in pools. When you're having your flooring season, you should walk in pools. Be in a family of other couples that are genuine, not rivals. That you menda Hawaii, mina and Barbados. No. You should have genuine friendship so that you can debrief. That when you lose your job as a man, you have other friends who still have jobs. You can debrief that energy of losing a source. It's necessary for men. A woman can debrief and know, hey, things are not the same. Kula chapo. Now we are eating something else. But that should help you to remain sober in such trying times. But most couples, in their moments of bloom, they isolate, they live in that bubble, and then when it bursts, they find themselves all alone. Strong couples are there because they walk with other couples. That's how they draw their strength. For the girl who says that they want to be in an open relationship,
it's the man who is pressuring.
The man who is pressuring her to be in an open relationship. I think this man does not love you. This man pities you. Unfortunately, there are two things that appear the same: need and love. There are people who need you, but they don't love you. And once their need of you decreases, this guy looks like can give me handsome kids, get pregnant. Then once he's met that need, he has expired. So he will bring flowers, chocolates. You'll just discover the need has been met. But love is timeless. It's eternal. But need is time-bound. And most of us, whatever we call, I'm in love with this guy, probably you just needed that guy. You needed somebody to affirm you in a season in your life, and that was the guy who was doing the best job. And as they met those particular needs, you made a lifetime decision that, let's get married. Maybe this guy needed somebody to cuddle with and jump around with for a season, and then his need has already been met, and he wants to move on, and is feeling like, I don't know how to tell you that you have expired, and I have a need for a new vessel.
That is the suggestion for open relationship.
That's the suggestion for open relationship.
Outsourcing. Sometimes somebody feels like, okay, I need this one as a wife, but this one is good in other areas. So you want to keep all of that. You know, like this one cooks chicken well. Yeah. This one does the ugali well. So because I want a whole meal, I'll keep this one to be making the ugali, this one will be making the chicken. Probably that's what this guy is thinking. Like, I can't settle down with this lady. But there's a way the lady makes him feel.
All right. Well, because of time, we're going to have to end there. Kama kawaida, I'll try and take a picture of this one. Light reflected up, but I'll take the pictures, and then some of the numbers, hopefully, if you guys can reach out, we'll post the numbers that you can reach out to them by. You can also find them on social media. It is at Welly Odendo and at CJ Atemo across all social media platforms. Like we've said, you know, at the end of the day, as you make your decisions, seek help. Don't suffer alone. That's, I guess, the most important thing that we're also trying to say here, is that if you're going through something and you feel it's a little bit too heavy, don't suffer alone. Speak to somebody you can trust. Reach out. You can always find Welly Odendo, CJ Atemo, or people that you are comfortable with to talk to about these matters. Don't suffer alone. Don't be depressed, especially during this season, as you remember the reason for the season. As I always say, successful people, one, look like you. And two, my new one is God loves you, and that can never change. So Sam Gituku is waving because he thought I'm going to say successful people look like you and the great Manchester United. That is also still true. I'd like to say thank you so much, CJ Atemo, Welly Odendo. We're gonna, in case usahau sana, nitaweka picha tumepiga pamoja na niwa tag, so you can just switch them directly, and their numbers as well. Right, so Sam Gituku is up next with still so many matters going on in the country, politically and otherwise. Like I always say, he's going to be tackling that with the correspondence across the country as well. So don't go too far. The hashtag is still Daybreak at Citizen TV Kenya, at Willis Raburu, at Sam Gituku.